Right, and as you can probably see here, we're getting quite a bit of, like, almost, I'm going to term it a swarf flying out. There's quite a bit, well, a reasonable amount on the floor down here. I don't know if you can see it. So you have to watch out for your eyes. You want safety glasses on doing this. Right, let's have a look in the bowl. Yeah, I've got it unplugged. Let's have a feel of that. I'll rate it as warm. This Black & Decker drill motor, 500 watt. I don't want that falling on the floor before I show you. Yep, quite a bit there. Granular, most of it. Some odd little bit like this, a bit bigger. There's a bit bigger sort of chunk. Somehow it's gotten through. Obviously some sort of sieve. So rate that as, well, a success up to that point. I'm going to seriously consider, I don't know how much that weighs. This bowl was empty, take my word for it. I would estimate half a kilo. Remembering there's a lot of air in amongst this, between the parts, so to speak. Yeah. So I'll have a think about the next sort of update of this. Let me try that chuck. See if it's come loose now. Yeah, see I can turn that by hand. See? And this has been tightened with a key. This is not a keyless chuck, it's like an old-fashioned drill. I'll show you the key, which so you put that in there, turn it, and I've tightened it up as much as I could, yet it's still come loose enough for me to be able to turn that ring there by hand, and that tightens up the jaws or loosens off the jaws. So somehow that's coming loose, which is not good, because obviously if it loses grip on here, it could be problematic. As I say, I've got 3 grooves cut in that wing nut that goes in here. I'll show you underneath, if I can, of this. Right, where am I? There we are. As I say, there's quite a bit of swarf between the blades there. Like swarf on it. Like swarf on this shredder. Sorry, jobber I'm using it on. This is a bit like a Black & Decker workmate. Just what's known as a Black & Decker jobber. Quite old. On a baby bath stand, that's what I put on. So I'm rating this. How can I rate this? Well, it's semi-successful, so 60% success. The issue now is, why is this coming loose? Another issue is, if you're putting a part on here, it's going to rub against this connection piece there. The only other way is to have a longer shaft on this. So this is an M22 board with a Keyseat cut in it, a keyway, and what's the other one called? Sorry, a Keyseat cut in the bolt for M5x5 key, and the key seat is already in these cutting blades. So there's the cutting blades. I'll have a think about next stage. Right, I've gone back to using this cutting block because with the full blade exposed it's very vicious, these cutting discs here. I have a what I'm calling a wear plate on here. It's just like 100% infill 3D printed plastic. I'm sorry, you might find it hard to see black on black here, but that's screwed in there. So I'm using countersunk balls. One reason I'm doing that because I might want to fit a part on here. Like I'll have to think about this. I'll see how this goes. Like a hinge part that you can put part on here and press down on the part with a hinge sort of thing. But I'll have to think about that because the cutting width here is just this width here. It's about 25 mil, 26 mil say, wide there. Black & Decker drill. Or in the previous one, this split apart this connection piece here. That was 35% infill. This is 100% infill, this one. So it should be stronger. Now if this splits apart, I do have another idea, and that's put some tie wraps around here to like hold it almost together, strengthen it. Tie wraps are very strong. And when enough waffle, let's get the cutting, and there's nothing in the bowl. Take my word for it, I don't know if you can see that. I'll have to get plugged in. I'll just reiterate, this is the trigger for this Black & Decker drill. It has a button on the other side which if you press it, it sort of locks the trigger in position so it can get turned on and then it'll stop on. This is what I'm going to try first. I'm holding it in this, what I term as a mole wrench, a hand vise. That's why I call it a mole wrench. There are different makes. They've been copied a lot. These like clamp on and can grip and hold apart quite well. Right, let's get going. Now watch out for your ears because this is very loud, and I do recommend goggles. I'm just going to give it a quick spin first to make sure everything's alright. Bit of wobble there. Coming loose in the small wrench because I haven't got it tightened up. If you want to tighten these up, you tighten up this and then clip. Tighten it up a bit more than that actually. So getting quite a few bits flying out, so I certainly want goggles on, safety glasses on. What I would say is that the bits that are on here that are sticking out are getting more snapped off rather than getting in the cutter and getting cut off. I'm getting a bit close to the blades with the mole wrench there, so let's go into this piece here. This is an earlier iteration of this, like what I'm terming as a cutting block. So the blades are cutting at an even enough 90-degree angle to this wear plate that's on this cutting block here. And try and move a bit closer for a closer shot here. Let's have a feel of this. Bit of warmth there. Bit of warmth on the blades. Now I did know this chuck to come loose. This is like a wing nut bolt thing here, all in one piece, the wing nut bolt. And I've cut 3 grooves in for the jaws of this 3-jaw chuck. But I have, even though I've tightened this up on the previous ones, it did come loose. You see I'm good halfway through cutting that. There's the infill. I'll show you from this like steeper, higher angle, whatever you. As you probably see, there's some bits of swarf getting caught between the blades there. On some, on quite a few shredders, I've counter-rotating blades, and I've like fingers that go between the blades to clean out this sort of swarf that you might get. On this, I haven't got that. Here it's stuck somewhere. I've think it was this edge here, this pointy edge down the side here. Again, the edges of this mold wrench are catching against this like cutting block here, so I can't get much further in than that, but that's about 4mm thick there with 35% infill. Let's see how quick it's cutting that. So this is like this part here, which had an awful lot more bolt holes in. Now in a way I've only got the 4 bolt holes in, because these bolts hold down the wear plate, whereas before I used the small bolts here. Let's not do that bit, let's have a... So this is a bottom of the body part down here, an early iteration. Let's try this, much bigger bit. I think this will be 35% infill again. So I feel warm. These do have fans in these Black & Decker drills. See there, it seems to be catching and jumping a bit. That's why I'm using 2 hands more to control it. I'm not pressing very heavy here, not at all, just enough to hold it onto the blades. Let's move down, steeper angle sort of thing. Get even a bit more steep angle. I'm getting some low on here. It's almost like this edge here is rubbing against something. It's not. There's a gap at the bottom, so I don't know what's causing this on this like connecting piece. And this is, yeah, it's probably rubbing against the edge here, and some of the plastic is coming off there. Okay, let's try this quite almost horizontal in a way, not firm off. steeper angle. Now I can smell like a bit of smell of melting plastic there, almost. I think it might be this here. I'm going to drop a piece of oil down there. Let's see, that's going pretty well. Let's do a bit more. Here I'm thinking that as I've been cutting it, I've been tilting this up and it's been rubbing against this connection piece here, and that's what's causing this blue on here. See, I'm going something like this, and that's what's getting the blue on here. So it's probably not rubbing against this edge at all. Well, it might be slightly. with this piece, yeah, it's definitely, as I'm sliding it along there, see it's hitting this connection piece here, rubbing against the edge of the connection piece, so I'm going like this and tilting it down onto this connection piece. So that's what's causing this blue to be rubbed off on here. That might be in the melting plastic actually, you could smell. Seems to stop now. Some swarf in between the blades, as I say. This part is difficult to get in here at these blades. I estimate the top of those blades is about 4mm above this cutting, well, this wear plate. I'm terming as a wear plate here. So look at that wear plate actually. It doesn't look too bad considering. It's been knocked about a bit there. 100% infill just on the wear plate part. The rest of this is about 35% infill. So that's one advantage with having a wear plate. It's easier to, quicker, easier, less plastic to print that out if it does get worn down. Replace that. Obviously you could have a metal plate in there. Let's try getting this in again. See, it is cutting, but once it cuts, the blades, oh, it's going underneath this. As I say, if I try and get this corner here onto the blades, see there's already a bit cut off there, and that's, the blades are just going underneath that, so they're not cutting it, and that's to get into this sort of small area here. So that's a bit of an issue. I'm going to have to seriously consider what I'm going to do about that. I'm wondering if I expose more of the blade, like in the previous one that was very vicious, but still have this small gap. On the previous one it had a bigger gap, and the piece got jammed in, and this split all this connection piece apart when it was on 35% infill. Here it's 100% infill, so obviously that's going to be a bit stronger. Overall I think that's pretty good. I'll have to think about what I'm going to do about this, because as I say, see that there, if I hold that there, imagine the cutting blade is coming like round here, and this is resting on this flat the wear plate here, then it's missing the part. Obviously I probably could, just to prove a point, I could cut this off, I reckon, most of that off. Let's do that. Okay, that is the most successful like shredding of any part. Oh no, I thought it felt a bit warm there. But as I say, with something like this, it's quite hard to get in. See, if I show that there, see how that edge is really above the curvature of the blade there.